Today I ducked up by peeing too hard. I had a meeting at work today. There were about 30 people in the meeting, and it was very important. It was only supposed to last 1 to 2 hours, but it went way over time, 3 hours after the meeting started. I really had to pee. But seeing as it was already an hour over time, I was confident I could hold it till the meeting was over. No one else had gotten up since the meeting started, and seeing as I've only been employed there for less than a month, I wasn't going to be the first one to do so. After 4 hours, my bladder was about to explode. I battled myself mentally, trying to convince myself to just go pee, while the other half of me didn't want to make a bad impression this early in my career. Right as I was about to jump up and just go for it, they wrapped up the meeting. As soon as they dismissed, I jumped from my seat and ran straight to the bathroom. I started unzipping before I had barely made it into the bathroom, and I was already peeing 2 steps from the urinal. I settled in at the urinal and unleashed a fire hydrant load of urine. Apparently I wasn't the only one who had to use the restroom, because there were more and more people coming in and using the toilets or standing along the wall behind me, waiting for the urinal to open up. Not wanting to stand there and pee forever, I tensed up my bladder, peeing as hard and as fast as I could. I guess when you do this, you also hold your breath. Either way, I pushed way too hard for way too long. I started getting really lightheaded and lost my balance. I took 2 steps back and passed out, falling straight on my back. I was probably only passed out in the floor for less than 5 seconds, but that was plenty enough time for about 10 of my coworkers to see me stumble back, fall in the floor with my duck hanging out of my pants, and then piss into the air like an angel statue in a park all over myself and the floor. I'm not sure I can show my face there tomorrow. TLDR. Tried to pee too hard, showed my duck to my coworkers, and pissed all over myself. Edit. I was feeling better about the situation after reading some of your comments until I realized that someone had to clean up my urine after I left. Omgumgong. I wanted to post an update because there were so many people requesting it yesterday. I went to work this morning with a game plan. Don't be embarrassed by what happened. Just go in there and own it. Many of you told me that if I would just be cool about it and make it a joke instead of being pussy, it would be much better for everyone. That plan worked great until I walked in the front door this morning, bold and confident, and the receptionist asked me what happened yesterday because she heard I peed my pants and passed out. Shoo-wah-wah-tee. My confidence was gone, and I told her I had somewhere to be and rushed to my desk, careful not to make eye contact with anyone else. About 8:30, my boss called me into his office. I put my head down and went in, not sure I did anything that could get me into trouble, but sure he was about to talk about something from yesterday's meeting. He told me to shut the door and have a seat, which I did. He then proceeded to ask me if I was okay because he heard I had passed out. He never mentioned the pee or my little piggy peeking out the barn doors. He told me others in the meeting had complained about having such a long meeting without breaks and apologized to me. I left his office feeling good again, and I went and talked with a group of coworkers huddled together, likely talking about me. I joked around with them about it and owned it like a man. They didn't have nearly as awesome of nicknames as you all did. The one that stuck seems to be TKO or the Fountain. I even went back to the scene of the incident about midday. This picture was pinned to the wall above the urinal. I thought it was pretty clever. Today I ducked up by out farting a cabbie on the way to the airport. So I'm pulling a long day, up at 3:30 AM, to get to the airport, pull a full day working in a different country, and head back to the airport for 6 PM, just to get back to my bed late at night. A long day. And there's nothing to eat the whole day but road food. Even the freaking business lunch that I've been looking forward to is in a low-end cafeteria due to refurbishments at the client's site. I hold it together through the day, the occasional grumble silenced by fastidious willpower and an air of professional courtesy, but things are going badly for my guts by the time I'm waving goodbye and getting into the airport taxi. Now I'm used to taxis, where you sit in the back separated by a screen, but this is more of a private hire situation, and I'm up at the front with the driver. I'm actually irritated that I'm still holding back this storm of gas that's been building through meeting after meeting with no opportunity for release, but for propriety's sake I don't let rip next to the poor cabbie. Turns out manners are a one-way street. We've been driving about 5 minutes and this terrible smell hits my nose. The cabbie has ripped one. I can't believe it. My eyes are watering and he just carries on talking about the weather like it hasn't even happened. I figure he's probably embarrassed, so I don't say anything. But a couple of minutes later, another one. Bam. It's fucking disgusting. I have to close my mouth because the air's thick enough you can basically taste it. But then I'm just breathing through my nose, which is helping nobody. It actually feels like it's burning me. My throat is closing up. Above all, it seems so deeply unfair. I'm here maintaining some class, holding back a fart that could jumpstart a second universe, but I'm still breathing the same shut gas as if I wasn't, courtesy of my filthy cabbie. I think, duck it, if this guy goes in for round 3 I'm releasing my demons and letting him take the blame. We are 5 minutes out and he parks another air biscuit duck you, I think, and I do the deed. It's perfectly executed. A silent release of a full day of pressure. Every fart has been banked since 9 AM and I'm cashing them all in with interest. It's a silent rush of hot air, compressed into 10 seconds of pure release. I'm almost surprised you don't hear my rusty knothole slam shut when it finally ends. Mission accomplished. The perfect undercover fart. I know what you're thinking. How did this go wrong? Didn't gamble and lose? Didn't let out a loud, incriminating trumpet? Didn't puke or pee, knock his coffee into his lap or set off the passenger airbags? Nope. It all went according to plan. For a moment, I was proud of myself. Then the smell hits. I have ducking outdone myself. It's a devastating riposte to what has come before. It hits all the usual notes and adds a hint of burning rubber for effect. It's a spectacular crescendo of wrongful aromas. I can recognize every awful thing I've eaten all day in the mix. It's a fart so carefully matured it could have come with tasting notes, and they would have been one word in length. Don't. Now let me tell you how this was a duck up. The electric window slowly slides down next to me, and the cold air hits my face. The cabbie turns to me, with actual tears in his eyes, and says, "I'm so sorry." What for? I ask innocently. "That fart," he replies, eyes wide open, as if it should be obvious. I mean, geez, everybody farts, we are only human. But that, I'm just so sorry. He leaves the windows down all the way into the airport and gives me a discount on the fare. Or the red eye way home. All I can think is, I stink so bad, I have made a cabbie apologize. Today I ducked up by letting my boyfriend finger me. It was supposed to be romantic. It was a last night together, before he left on a plane, not to see me for months, and we were about to get groovy. We were under the stars, kissing and holding each other, and spending a long time on the perfect foreplay. It was ducking amazing. We were ready to duck like animals and to make sweet love all at once. We were naked, and touching each other to build up suspense, and he began to finger me hard, leaving me moaning, but with an odd sensation as well. "There's something inside you," he said. "There's nothing. Don't stop," I replied, uneasily. "No, there's something inside you. It feels plastic." Horror chills my veins. It had been about 2 weeks since my period. But I knew then that I had left my menstrual cup, basically a plastic cup for blood period gunk not to be left in longer than 12 hours, in for the past 14 days. Idiotically, I asked him to help me remove it, so we could continue. Mother of God, it smelled like an eviscerated decomposing body mixed with rotting broccoli, sewage, and rotting eggs all in one. And the smell did not go away. I threw out the cup and its contents, but the stench of 14-day-old rotting blood and uterine gunk is not one that fades easily. I could tell my squeamish boyfriend was trying extremely hard not to lose his shit and vomit. But it only got worse from there. The stench would not leave, and it was coming from my vajayjay. To try and bring the mood back, I went to the bathroom to try and freshen up. He joined me, perhaps to make me feel less disgusting. Bad idea. With a feeling like an impending queef but somehow thicker, my vajayjay suddenly emptied a massive glob of this filth, and it splattered a surprisingly large amount of brown rotted uterine filth all over my poor boyfriend's leg. He practically ran home. Don't continue reading if you want to keep the menstrual magic alive. I thought I'd die of toxic shock syndrome too, but turns out I was totally fine. I guess it just smelled like I had been dead for weeks. I must have an iron vajayjay. I didn't use my menstrual cup again after that, half to help cure my boyfriend's PTSD and half because it had the lingering stench of eviscerated bodies. That he enjoys eating me out again is probably proof that he's better now, so there's hope for the ladies who have ducked up like me. My transitions from outdoors to indoors to bathroom happened a little quickly for some in my abbreviated post. Let me put it in sequence for you. While we are outdoors, boyfriend scents the sewage stench. Instinctively, boyfriend runs to the bathroom in my house, even though we are wild deer and the forest is also our bathroom. I freak out and throw my disgusting menstrual cup and fluid into the bushes, which was actually a great idea since it meant the smell didn't get all over my house. I wash the nasty off my thighs. I take about 2 minutes to soap everything down. He returns to the bathroom to wash his hands again. Massive catastrophe. Just when he thinks he's clean, my vajayjay explodes. The brown chunks that miss his leg splatter onto the floor, then bounce back onto and under his feet. He washes up briefly and goes home, apologizing. I don't blame him at all. We had a fond farewell the next afternoon, but did not bring up the incident for months. We briefly laughed about it a few months later, but haven't talked about it in a very long time. Perhaps ironically, I had forgotten about it too until yesterday. This actually happened a while ago. We are still together. He is a keeper. Moral of the story: life can be gross sometimes, especially if you leave your menstrual cup in for 14 days. But at least I turned my pain into something beautiful. I'll let you guys know when my novel gets published. Here's hoping broccoli owners and menstrual cup companies everywhere don't send me too much hate mail. If you puked/spilled on anything electronic, try putting it in rice for a while.